So I'm not sure which paddock this was, number-wise. We'll just call it the August paddock. August was a month of relative drought, which caused some problems. You can see it's pretty barren here. I'm going to seed it and cover it in some straw, and it'll recover, but it might take a little longer than normal. I'm also going to rip out some of these trees. That's a hawthorn. I might keep that one. I like those. But that's a scrubby little maple right there. That one's probably toast. Cut down a lot of the dead ash. Get this thing open. Get a lot of the sunlight onto the ground. That'll help the grass grow. You can see the berm. Again, I'm going to do more of the pod style tree plantings like that there than along this line. It doesn't seem to work doing it along the line like that, and it's harder to irrigate. So, a lot of dirt, a lot of dust, but again, it's been incredibly dry. But again, look at the incredible opening up of the woods that the pigs do compared to if you watch the initial video. You couldn't even see into this paddock, it was so dense. Pigs came through here for about 4 weeks, maybe close to 5, and they have this thing all opened up. One thing to avoid, I couldn't get this piece of fence out because that post right there is driven into a tree root, and I can't get it out. I'm gonna have to dig it up and hack the root out. I've done everything I could. I'm gonna break the post before I get it out. Once we get into the back here, the pigs make, and every year it's the same way, but the pigs make an enormous mud hole in this paddock. It's huge. It's got to be like 1/10 of an acre, which I let them do. There's a natural spring that comes through there, and they like it. And happy pigs are calm, mellow pigs, and that's what we want. There's a culvert down there, and pigs have kind of clogged that up. I might have to dig it out. Right there, it's full of mud when normally it should be an open pipe. But that's okay, I can dig it out. Look at all that mud. Pigs do a good job of making that for sure. So we're still walking the perimeter here. Here's some more of that enormous mud hole. Again, when we started, all green in there. And every year it's the same deal. The pigs make it look like this. And then within a couple weeks, it looks like this. Doesn't take long. So I don't worry about it. That's an enormous ash tree that just rots a little more every year. If I would have been a little more proactive, I could have made firewood out of it. That's a lot of firewood, but it's too late now. Now the whole thing's just soft. Pigs will eventually completely bust it up and work it into the soil for me. Continuing on. I'm walking up a little incline. I'm not sure if that shows in the video, but that pig fence is pretty versatile, so you can go over all kinds of rough terrain with it. Again, there's a good idea of the berm they create when they root toward the fence line. I've tried planting trees into it, as evidenced by those stakes. All the trees died. So I didn't irrigate them, which is probably a problem because this is a high ground area, and they just didn't do well without irrigation. Or maybe I chose the wrong species for this spot, because plenty of other trees are doing fine here. That's a black walnut, doing great, planted all on its own. That's a cherry, also doing great, showed up on its own. So, and there's a mulberry down here that I might try and take some softwood cuttings from and make more mulberry trees right there. It's a mulberry, and it's doing great, even though it fell over. So that's a pretty hardy tree if you ask me. You can see the very clear grazing line. I like the way the pigs affect it. Here's a good example of what happens when you leave a water in place too long. That's probably a foot deep where it was level before the water. You can see underneath the water, the barrel's just sitting on like this little cylinder of dirt. And everything else is a pit. The pigs made their own wallow. So, but that's okay too. I'll fill it with sawdust or something. Sometimes they make these dust baths too, which you can see, just dust. But the pigs will lay in there. It's cooler than the hard ground. So we're coming around the home stretch of the paddock here. Here's an apple. It's been dropping its, obviously there's no apples on the ground because the pigs take care of all that. And then if you have a tree you want to protect, like this oak, I just make sure it's outside of the fence line. Little pin oak, but hopefully get some acorns in like 20 years because it's a slow growing tree. So that's the paddock we just moved them off of, and now they're on to, again, numerically I'm not sure anymore, it's either 5 or 6, but now they're on to what we'll call the September paddock. Let's go check that out.